part two, guys. No introduction needed here. Give Ruckus a couple of minutes. He went to have a smoke. Good to see everybody jump over from one channel to the next so we can continue this conversation. And I'll be able to pull it up on my screen a lot better where I'll be able to read the rest or some more of that affidavit, guys. And we'll also go over Judge Gold ruling and order today also with that. And just have a conversation with everybody. But let's see who's all in here right now. Mama Wolverine, what's going on? Don Spain, Night Shadow, good to see you. Metal Mama, Wanda from Missouri, Frederica, 6-3 Clocks, what's going on, buddy? Frosty, what's going on, bud? Mustang, Criminality, hey, lady, good to see you. See Through, Olivia 2, GP, how's your mom doing, hon? Daisy, Lady Monet, Mark Collins, V. Marie. Before I go any further, my mods are very strict as I am. They don't tolerate no BS from nobody in the chat. We're all here to get along and have a good conversation. We can agree to disagree, guys. So if you feel like that you can't bite your tongue in the chat, you might as well remove yourself from the chat as we speak, because we will not tolerate it in here. We will not talk about other creators. We won't down any other creators or anything in that such fashion. So in saying that, let's continue. Who's all in the chat? We got Beth Gonzalez. What's going outside the grid? Brad, how you doing, buddy? Marine, good to see you. Deb's True Crime Notebook, one of my favorite women. Carol Murray, James, who else? Allison Wood, good to see you. Todd, it's good to see you. There's Ruckus. What's going on, buddy? I'm just heading through the chat real quick and giving my standards of my channel and giving shouts out to everybody real quick. And I told them that it will continue with the affidavit as need be. We'll just skim through it together. Whatever catches our eye, we could talk about, and then we'll go over to what Judge Gold's ruling was today.
Right on.
We got Junior Johnson, Boston, good to see you. Delphi Dummies, what's going on? I'd like to know who that is. Cindy Hudson, Teresa K, what's up going on, Shane? Rob Lee. Quite a few people here. My goodness. CJK, Pam Hurst, Gail Hurd, Josh DePosh, support with Steffa, good friend of mine too. Rescue, one of the nicest, most kindest ladies I've ever met right there.
Yes.
Who else we got in here? Phil Bond, good to see you. Junior Johnson.
Now, I just want to ask a quick question. Was when my live ended, did it automatically send you guys over here? I tried to set it up so that happened. So if that happened with anybody, let me know. And Duke Nukem, I see your question. I'll remember it, and I'll get to it when we get a chance.
I think what Denham said, is this like a progressive dinner? Where we headed next, so I don't get lost.
It's like YouTube.
This is how we roll.
YouTube makes it like a GPS. You know, you go right from my stream to this one. That's a nice feature, though. I didn't know that. Did you? Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Miss Thang, good to see you.
What it does is I set it up to redirect. So as soon as my show stopped, anybody that was watching my show, it would redirect you right over to here without you having to do anything.
Right. Ivy Rose, good to see you. Willow Rain. Cynthia Delafonte, good to see you. Hybrid, good to see you. Graham Tam, good to see you. Oh, I just got a super sticker somewhere. Who was it?
It was Mark.
Yes.
Mark, actually.
Good to see you, Jinx. Thank you for showing up. Bobby.
And thanks for your support, Mark. That means a lot. That was awesome
Scott,
of you.
Scott Daly. Somebody just gifted 5 memberships. So y'all better be watching out, checking your shit. Anything I like. Oh, Blaze over there howling. Robin B, good to see you. Duke Nukem, there you are. Heather, good to see you. Man, there's a lot of people. True Crime Fangirl. My God, there's people I've never seen before, dude.
Now, to those of you guys that don't know, when memberships are gifted, that person pays for your first month membership for you. And at the top of chat, there'll be a little. It looks like a little gift. You got to click on that to accept gifts while you're in the chat.
Mark, there's his $5 super sticker, and it was Metal Mama that gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Metal Mama.
Right on.
Greatly appreciated. I don't think there's anybody else I've missed. Leslie Kingston, I see you. Good to see you, hon. There's Mark. There's Metal Mama. All right, we got Rose Shides in the house. All right. You guys are just piling in like crazy. I can't keep up. So we're just going to go straight to continuing on that affidavit. Give me a second, guys.
Let me get that question while you're doing that from Duke Nukem real quick. There was actually 2 sketches that were not released. One of them does look like that guy Elvis. I don't think he was involved, to be honest with you. And even if all of this oldness stuff is true, that does not mean that Richard Allen's off the hook. I mean, he could have been involved with that, that whole shooting match, and they were involved with him. But I don't think that guy was Elvis. Okay, so Deb said it did. There was a link, and you just clicked on it. So that's pretty cool how that works.
What's that?
To come over here after my channel, she said there's a little link after my live ended, and you just clicked on it. It brought you right over.
Right, that's neat, man. I don't know if StreamYard has that or not.
That's a YouTube thing. That's not StreamYard. That's a YouTube thing. And Allison Wood asked the question of both of us: do you think the other arrests will be made before or after Richard Allen takes a plea deal, goes to trial?
I don't think they're gonna let him plead right off the bat. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's how it works. They make the arrest first.
Right. Now here's the thing too, and here's how it usually works. If it's going to be a plea deal, he's got to do his part of the deal in order for it to work. So they'd have to execute the arrest, and the guy would have to go to trial, and he would have to testify for that plea deal to be
right,
to be locked in. So it could be before, it could be after. It depends how he's cooperating, and what kind of plea deal slash deals they made for trial. Because they can still negotiate charges, and that's the attorney's job, is to negotiate the charges down if he can.
Now, I mean, everybody's pretty much read this stuff already. Let's talk a little bit about Keegan Klein.
Just real quick, we got a $4.99 super chat from Stefa.
I'm gonna get out of this then.
Yeah, and she said, "You're going to talk about how you left me alone on Ron Logan's property,
Here
Frank?"
we go. Starting her shit already. Let me get to where she's at. Let me block her real quick. I'm just kidding, Steffa. No, it was nothing like that. And if I had to spill the beans and say no, she decided to take the trail back by herself, didn't want to climb up the ravine. That's what that led to.
Gotcha. I've been there. I've been up and down both sides, and
Yeah. I've been and done that. I was like,
yeah, it's no fun. I tried to stay behind Steve on the way down, in case I fell. I could hit him, and maybe it would stop my fall. And in front of him on the way up for the same reason.
yes, thank you, support with Steffa for the $4.99 super sticker. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Keegan Klein because me and you've had this discussion before, and I don't think we've really talked about it on the lives about the situation with him being down in Wabash at the time of Richard Allen is down there, and all of a sudden he's being transferred to Michigan City. And then we know that they've interviewed him numerous times over this Delphi case.
Mm-hmm.
We know this.
Yeah, absolutely. He was at Grissom Air Force Base. He's involved with the Delphi case. Period.
Yes, he's talking, and I believe he is testifying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I told everybody, I had a discussion with Dave Vito at the hearing, and he told me to get a hold of him this week. So I called and left a message for him today. So I'm waiting to hear back from him and throw some information at him to see if they've reviewed any of it, because there are some connections between the Allens, the Walkers, and the Kleins. And I wanted to make sure that they looked at all those angles.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And Michael Giannino, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name, but you always ask very insightful, respectful questions, and I appreciate that. You mentioned Weber property, but nothing about who's associated with it. Why they not involved? Also, who was at the Walmart yelling at the girls the day before? I'm not going to disclose who's in that Walmart video yelling at the girls. I'm not going to disclose that right now. But the Weber property is it's a location thing. That's just where they were. That's where they ended up. It was the most convenient spot at the end of the bridge. And if you were coming back across the creek and need to hide shit, that was the easiest place to do it. Rather than put it in your vehicle, you don't want evidence in your vehicle to leave DNA and stuff like that. To such.
sorry guys. Oh, there we go again. My clip came undone. But yeah, I mean, with the Keegan Klein situation, man, it's just like the more and more we're starting to learn. I still got this thought in my head, man, that one of the girls had done something to piss somebody off in that who's associated with that Anthony Shots account. Something happened to where this was all premeditated to kill one of them or both of them. And I'm still, I mean, we do know about the rumors years ago about allegedly Libby having a secret that she had to tell. What if she came across this Anthony Shots and it was like, oh no, I'm turning you guys in, and word got out that this needed to be taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, remember we had that whole conversation about the ski mask thing, and you actually called the sheriff's office.
Yes, I spoke with the Tipton County Sheriff, and he couldn't find anything, a police run, a police report, nothing.
Right, so it didn't get reported. If it did happen, you got $1.99 super sticker from Boston Christian. Super chat, and it says, and Steffa was all alone by herself on Ron Logan property.
It's not like she's never run into Ron Logan personally anyway.
Sounds like you did it wrong, brother.
It was me, Randy, Betty Noor. She came down from Michigan. It was us three and one other person. No, it wasn't Randy. It was, I can't remember his name. Yeah, it was me, Taylor, Betty, and this other guy. we all went up the ravine and walked out the cemetery. And Stefan was like, hell, walking up that ravine. She just decided to walk up back to the trail. I mean, when we were on 300, you could see her plain as day. I mean, she
Right.
had this great big old, I don't know, remember if she had it on or not, but she had this great big old red trench coat, fur or whatever kind of coat. And you could see her plain as day walking the trail. So
LA, thanks for your concern. I'm doing much better. Thank you. I appreciate that.
you know, but yeah, the more and more I keep hearing and looking at stuff, and once again, I think they've finally had enough of Keegan and said, look, man, we know you know who did what because you're the only one that knows who you would be notified when somebody is accessing the Anthony Shots account and you'd know exactly who you gave that information to. And once again, you got to go back to when they lived in Peru. I mean, he admitted in his affidavit when he was being interviewed over the CSAM charges that numerous people were using this phone when he was at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they all lived in the same area at one time or another.
Yes, exactly.
So, and they all hung out at the same bar. They had the bars, plural. They had the same interests. They all played pool. They all drank beer.
Now, from my understanding, there was one specific spot right there on 2nd Avenue in Peru that everybody hung out at. And that's where I'm hearing through the grapevine that locals do know for a fact that Keegan and Tony know Richard Allen.
And Logansport too. There's a couple bars in Logansport that's like halfway, between the Delphi area and Peru. So
and
yeah, there's
I do believe Keegan is singing like a canary.
yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. You go back to the very first live video I ever did, and that's all I did was talk about Keegan Klein. There's just no way he's not involved.
And I did get wind that Tony did move to Arizona with his girlfriend.
So he finally did move.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And from my understanding, the only people that Keegan has really been talking to is his mother, his brother Bart, and possibly Tony when he was still down in Wabash. I don't know what's going on up in Michigan City right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Brian Emery, Ruckus, you mentioned there are multiple suspects with wide range age ranges. How reliable are your sources? Very, very. And when this all comes out,
that's what's going to be the shock part.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, dude, if you're a pervert when you're 15, you're gonna be a pervert when you're 80. You know that shit just you can't pray that shit out of you. Trust me.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand that there was a lot of the kids in those areas that were tied into the Anthony Shots account, and a lot of us didn't realize it. They were communicating with them,
Mm,
and things in that nature. And I'm like, man, and Libby and Abby just happened to get caught up in the web.
right. Now, Anna Lisette, she's making a good point. If KK has info about RA, if he said that a while ago, what took LE so long to catch RA? He may not have known him personally. There's a big age gap between those two. He
Mm-hmm.
may have known him by a screen name, and that's
Right.
what they found in the Wabash, Wabash, however you say it. They found an electric device or a thumb drive or what have you that they were able to track that screen name back to Richard Allen. Now, don't forget at all, please, because it is important that the word Emily Ann comes up over and over and over again. That plays a big part in this.
And another thing that also comes with that Emily Ann, what's on the end of Emily Ann?
45.
45.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've verified at least one of the teenagers' Twitter accounts, email or is at symbol, whatever you use for Twitter, ends in 45.
Mm.
And I'm
Gail
like,
asked us both a question. Since that Anthony Shots account may have been involved, couldn't KK get same charges as RA felony murder? Not if he's cooperating. Not if he's cooperating. I don't think that Keegan Klein um, ever physically did anything to any of the girls. He just liked to catfish them, get pictures, sell those accounts, and the such. He's definitely involved with CSAM. People have just kind of let that go by the wayside now with this the Delphi case, but it's never been far from my mind at all.
yeah, I totally agree now that it does have a lot to do with the Anthony Shots account.
Mm,
Just by things we've seen and we've read, and there's just no way it doesn't have anything to do with Anthony Shots. If Richard Allen had access to it, or what the circumstances were, Anthony Shots played a role into this crime.
absolutely, 100%. Not just Anthony Shots either. They have other catfish accounts. They don't just use one or two.
Right.
They have several. And LA Express, yes, there's going to be more arrests. There's no doubt. This thing may not be just inside Carroll County,
I
and it
mean,
takes
if
time.
if you look at the charging information, it's basically what has happened here is he's telling Richard Allen, look, we know for a fact there's others involved. We just don't know who they are. So if you're not willing to give up the goods, we're going to charge you with 4 counts of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping on top of that, which makes it a capital crime. You're looking at the death penalty if I decide to throw it on the table.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in Indiana, I've seen it too many times where people have been charged with capital murder, and the next thing you know, they're squealing like pigs, changing their
Yeah,
plea to guilty to get off the death penalty off the table.
and they all roll on each other too,
You
quick.
know,
And Riz
so
AW, I'm not saying they found a thumb drive. I'm giving an example. I do not personally know what they found in the river. You know, but the whole catfishing thing, and if you look at Keegan's unredacted transcript from his interview, he was actually talking to another pervert who was posing as a young girl. Now, somehow they were able to figure out that each other were men and were perverts, and they started exchanging CSAM. So that's part of the deal, too. So, they have their own little ways of knowing who's who and what's what. That may be what the Emily Ann is, or the 45.
right.
If you've got that in your name, there's a good chance that you're a fellow fanatic. You know.
Well, I did go over the. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more witnesses added to the witness list that was just dropped to us last week.
Hmm.
I mean, there was additional 5 added to the one from February in that file dump that they'd done. So I expect more people to be added to that witness list when it comes to trial time, if it makes it to trial.
Sure.
You
And
know,
like you and I discussed, we touched on it. We didn't discuss it in depth for obvious reasons.
right,
But we still don't know what kind of contact Abby and Libby had with Anthony Shots.
right.
We don't know if he was trying to sextort them. We didn't know what he was up to, what ploy he was using. Sometimes they use money, attention, or they'll sextort them. There's all different tricks that they use.
And that's why I brought up about the alleged rumor about Libby supposedly had a secret. What if it was something in that nature? She found out what these perverts were trying to do to her, and she was going to tell on them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. It could have been happened to Abby.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. We don't know that yet.
exactly.
Now, there, as far as information that they got, how I'm really curious as to why the phone was left there. And the unspent round,
And,
because the
and,
unspent round was right where law enforcement said it was. It
and
wasn't
see,
buried.
now we got another contradiction according to the memorandum. They said that the phone was found under Abby. Now, if you go to this affidavit, it said they found it under Libby.
Right. And I believe the affidavit. We all know that, and
Yes.
we all know why. To me, the memorandum, they're going to say whatever they can and try and steer things in their own direction. Like they put that the bullet was in the ground. Now they can say, "Oh, that was a typo. We
And
meant on the ground."
and then somebody I heard that the little excuse that they were putting out. Well, that bullet wasn't found for days after. I said, then you explain to me why the defense admitted that the bullet was found the same day they were found in between the girls.
Yeah, right. And they have the chain of custody.
Yes.
And to me, it's not even worth arguing about. And they have pictures of the crime scene techs
Let me
picking the
answer this.
bullet up, putting it in the bag, starting chain of custody, sealing it, bagging it, and tagging it.
Is your Facebook open or private? I got a group that's private, but if you send me a request, it gets reviewed by me and another administrator, and it's more than likely me, and I'll accept it. My Facebook is open to is public. Go ahead, Ruckus.
That's okay. I have a personal Facebook, and I have 0 friends.
Really?
I started one for Ruckus Rocks, but I never really do anything with it. I can barely keep up with this stuff in Discord.
I mean, all I do on my Discord is just post the documents and when we have live streams or whatever, and that's about it.
Hmm. Now, there's a lot of Facebook groups that I hear are pretty good, and Reddit groups and stuff like that. But I just can't. Like I said, dude. I do my own work, and there's nobody that's going to convince me otherwise. Now, the judicial stuff, what the next step is going to be. Yeah, you got me there. I have no clue about any of that stuff. But speaking of which, I wonder if they're going to file to have her removed, Judge Gall removed.
How are they going to do that when the Supreme Court? I thought they already did that. That's what this hearing was about. Was her and the defense attorneys.
Well, I think that the Supreme Court ruled that all of that stuff that happened didn't happen properly. That was their problem.
Well,
That
I saw the vote count. It was 5-0 to keep her, 3-2 to keep the defense team, and 5-0 to not allow a speedy trial.
Mm, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know
So there
how
was
that
3
worked.
specific things that the hearing was about that day. Like I just said, Judge Gold's removal, the attorneys being reinstated or kept out, and then the speedy trial.
Yep.
They ruled
And
on all.
Kimo Sabi, I know you asked a lot of questions. So if you have any that I
I'm
haven't
done.
addressed already,
Man,
um,
I'm so many people in here. I'm trying to keep up, dude.
let me know. I'm just trying to scroll through and look for questions, Frank. I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead. There's Lady Monet for you. What's Ruckus think of happened after the girls went down the hill?
Don't know.
You
Don't
see,
know. Some people say they got attacked under the bridge.
I'm not even going to speculate on that. Honestly,
Yeah,
I won't.
yeah. You really can't. I do know this. I do know that Abby's clothes, her left leg was muddy from like mid thigh down, and the sweatshirt didn't seem to be muddy. Her hair didn't seem to be wet, and her sneakers were pristine. They were clean. So I don't know how all that happened, but that screams more than one person to me as well.
Right.
So,
I'm going
but
to
Kimo Sabri, if you have any questions here that I haven't answered, I try to address some in my chat. But yes, they will have photos of markers. Now, the way you're wording your questions, Kimo Sabri, you're saying, well, then why didn't they or shouldn't they have? Okay, should there have been an evidence marker by the round in the photo? Yes. If that is a photo that law enforcement took, we don't know who took that photo yet, Kimosabi. I did a video on that. There's a stamp on Libby's body. There's several lines that you can see that are caused by stamps in different locations, and you can see writing on it. So we don't know who took those pictures when they were taken. Could have been the offender. that took those pictures. We don't know yet. Those are not crime CSI pictures. We don't
Uh,
know where they originated from.
let's get to this. This says Lady Monet is confusing, but he thinks at least one, maybe two others are involved. And I totally agree. At least one more, possibly two.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally
Absolutely.
agree. For everything
Absolutely.
that was done or after the fact. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know for a fact Richard Allen was at the crime scene. There's no doubt in my mind, and he was there for one of his rounds was between the girls. He was there. And who else was
Absolutely.
there? And who else was there with him is the big question mark. Is the question mark.
Mm-hmm. Ivy Rose, you're absolutely right. Steve said that they typically take photos before placing the evidence tags. As a matter of fact, I think they did a 360. They have a machine that does
The virtual,
yeah.
360. Yeah.
But we still don't know, Ivy Rose, if those are forensics photos or what. We don't know. They could be searchers photos. We have no idea where they originated from or what generation they were. How many times have they been
Duplicated
screenshotted and stuff
and
like that?
duplicated. Yes. Right.
Yeah. Something to say, says Frank and Ruckus. What do you make of Bree Weber trying to meet Anthony Schatz? Did you say several times? Yes, several times, more than a few before the murders.
I mean,
Does she and or Kelsey know Ellie knew about that? They must know by now because Kelsey was also communicating with Anthony Schatz.
the thing about Bree is the fact is that she did not get picked up until the day 5 days after Keegan's house got raided. She got picked up by U.S. Marshals
Mm-hmm.
to be questioned.
And that tells you a lot.
And I'm like, yeah, why did they wait so long? I mean,
And it was the Marshals.
and it gave the date right here in this affidavit when they
Mm.
interviewed her.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did they wait so long to talk to her? You know?
Yeah, I wish I could have got my hands on more of that discovery.
Right. I haven't actually seen any of the pages. And that's as far as I'm going with all that. Because I don't want
Right.
to talk about none of that crap no more. Trying to get rid of the people that want to stick on that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't mind. People just want to know, and I don't mind them asking. But if I don't want to answer it, I'm not going to answer it. And this isn't me trying to say, if I was an asshole, I'd be on all the time dropping breadcrumbs, but I'm not. That's why I kind of got off this case. I know it's solved. I'm just interested to see who else is involved and when they make the arrest and how that goes down.
Do you want to answer this? I know about it too, but I'm not comfortable about talking about it because you know more about what was in the discovery than I do.
Yeah, they were definitely in Walmart, and it was definitely Walmart. I saw your question before, Cease through. I don't know where the Walmart was. I'm not familiar with that area. I don't think there's one in Delphi. But they were screwing around like teenage girls do. Who knows? Maybe at the perfume counter, maybe whatever, running through the clothes racks. Who knows what they were doing? But there was a person, a male, who got pissed off at them and was yelling at them, and it's a familiar person.
Yes.
Shane Considine. I'm sorry, Shane. Frank Ruckus, do either of you know, did Alan ring the tip line to make an appointment for his conservation officer appointment, or did they just meet? I think he knew Skinner. Yeah.
That's my understanding is that him and Skinner were pretty good friends, and he contacted Skinner to let him know, hey, even though Skinner was already retired at that time, Skinner knew what to do and what advisement he gave to Richard. And from my understanding, he was advised to go meet with Doolin up at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm. And it was like the next day. And I try to explain to people, I just don't think that they understand what I'm getting at. They canvassed the area. Now, that's a rural area. For instance, with the Idaho 4, right? After that, they sent out a bunch of, doesn't matter who it is, game and fish, beat guys, detectives, as many as they can, and they canvass the area. They go around knocking on doors. Did you see or hear anything? Do you have cameras? Yada, yada, yada. Well, in a rural area, like the county I worked in out in the west side is really rural. You go to the stores. You go out in that area. You go to the liquor store. That's where the most people are going to go, and the gas stations. And you hang around out front, like wherever the Girl Scouts are selling cookies. That's the best place to find to see people.
Right.
And so they'd ask people questions. So it could have been a random meeting like that.
Let me get through this chat. Doug. Elvis
But
Fields. I had a question you missed. The unreleased sketch that looked like Elvis Fields. Do you think that's the one, the other person with RA?
yeah, I answered that one earlier when I came in. That was one of the first ones that I grabbed.
I don't buy none of that Elvis Fields stuff.
Something to say. I don't know who they were at Walmart with. I don't know who. I do know that there's more photos pre-bridge that they got off of her phone, and one of those photos has an unidentified male in it who's in dark clothes. Could be black, could be dark blue, could be dark brown. Who knows? That person has not come forward. Now they didn't put that picture out, but everybody knows. Hey, if you're at the trail that day, you need to come tell law enforcement. They need to talk to you. Well, that person they have not found out who that is. That could be the man in black, right?
And you know who that leads me right to?
Yeah,
Every time. Every time.
yep. And rumors start, but sometimes rumors are true.
Ma, this ain't no damn rumor because he put himself there that day.
Yeah,
He even admitted to being there that day. He even admitted to wearing black that day.
right.
I'm like, and he was even there the day before on the
Yeah,
bridge.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, ah.
Now, Boston Christian, why did they move KK to a another prison if he's working with them? He's got a plea deal. His deal's not, and his attorney that was working on his case for his CSAM case said we are not making a deal. That's a rumor. Blah blah blah. Yeah, on that case, he's involved with the Delphi case. He is either informing or knows who did it, stuff like that. So unless he physically participated in this, he has some kind of a leeway. Now he has some pretty bad charges, and people in prison don't like that. They may move those folks around. They do that in Florida sometimes. Periodically, they'll move pedophiles around. Doesn't mean anything. Don't read too much into transfers.
I think he got transferred because of the case. Honestly, I do.
Yeah, it may well be, and we'll know eventually. We'll know, but they make transfers like that all the time. All the time. Anybody that's been in the prison system in Florida, they'll tell you if you get any more than 2 or 3 years, if you're going to be at 2 or 3 different prisons, they're going to move you around all the time. They don't want anybody getting too familiar because then you start running hustles and stuff like that.
Getting comfortable and shit.
Yeah, Patricia
Being
Clark, 499 super chat. When do you think Ellie knew that RA was involved? I think around they had a hunch around July, August, around there.
what's the question?
When do you think LE knew that RA was involved?
I would say it was around June or July myself.
Hmm.
Yep.
Just from the stuff I've seen,
Right.
you know. I mean, there's things we've all watched these shows, and I've seen it in real life. They have to follow these people. They have to watch these people. They have to gather evidence. We live in America. You know, you can't just say, yeah, we know he did it. Somebody told him. It's 75 to 80% of all wrongful convictions are due to bad eyewitnesses. So you can't just take somebody's word for it. And who are the worst is people that are in jail. They'll say anything to get a deal.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
see, that's what worries me with Keegan, though, man, because we know 99% of the time he's got bullshit coming out of his mouth, and it just worries me half the time that he's lying about stuff. I just
Mhm.
want him to come clean, man, and just get this case over with, dude. It's went
Mhm.
on too long for these families, man. You know?
Well, well, we've seen that one transcript. I would love to see the transcript from Grissom Air Force Base.
Oh, definitely, because we know that was sealed.
I would love to see the transcript from Richard and Kathy Allen's interview on the
You know,
13th of October.
those are sealed too. Those ain't going nowhere.
Hmm.
I can't get my hands on them unless Judge Gould decides to open the floodgates and just unseal every goddamn piece of evidence there is.
Hmm.
Because you know the defense was throwing a fit over that because Nick wanted to keep everything sealed.
Sure. And for good reason. There's other people involved, you know?
You know, and so I do see Judge Gold basically. I think she's going to start unsealing more stuff. I don't know if it's going to be the stuff we want to see or want to hear, but I do see her starting to unseal more stuff to be more transparent with this case.
Hmm.
I mean, the courtroom is not being transparent enough. Cameras in the courtroom is not what we want. We want transparency through documentation. You can say
Sure.
all the bullshit you want in front of the cameras in the courtroom, but what's on paper and what's official is what matters. You know,
Right. Right. No, I agree.
you
I
know.
agree. I saw a question here, and then I saw no. Look out the window, Ruckus. You said a few months ago we would be surprised at the ages of those involved. Do you still think so? And did you mean because they are so elderly or so juvenile? Thank you. You're gonna be surprised at how old some of these people are that are involved with this shit. It's not just. It sounds like high school shit, catfishing. It's not. It's a big business now. And Todd asked Ruckus question: if there was more than one suspect, why would they let RA walk down 301 in plain sight? I think he meant 300. That seems like a real bad idea. They had a shitty plan, Todd.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But
Yeah, they
I
didn't
mean,
think
at
things
least
out.
he was smart enough to get rid of the jacket, wherever that jacket went to,
It
because
went to Weber's garage.
I mean, just think about it. He was smart enough to get rid of the jacket
Yeah,
because, according to Sarah Carball, he was wearing like a brown sweatshirt of some sort, a hoodie or something, when she
right.
saw him walking down 300. But my question is where on 300 did she see him? Was it past the drop-off point where the girls were dropped off the Mears lot? Was it past there, heading back toward the CPS building? Or was it before you reached the Mears lot?
Well, the north side is the Hoosier Harvest Store side. So that's what I want to know. Was it before that or after they get him on that? Now, those are some of the questions that I don't know. And I'm here to tell you the FBI did not fuck up the video from the marathon station. They got good information from that. They take pictures from the monitor and then they take the hard drive. They make sure they don't screw things up. They did that with Hoosier Harvest Store. If you look at the paperwork. I saw another question here that I wanted to get to. But letting him walk down 300, they had a shitty plan, Todd. It was quick. They weren't expecting the girls to be there. The girls didn't know if they could get a ride, if indeed they were the target.
He's talking to you, bro.
What?
Ron Logan's talking to you.
Hope to see you guys at the spring hog roast. A lot of people saying that Ron Logan had a hog roast. I think that's what he's getting to.
We're not going there. It's never been vetted, and no one's ever vetted it yet, so we just left it alone.
Right. Anna Lissette, Anthony Schatz didn't make money. Keegan Klein made it, and whoever used that account made it. But it wasn't so much for the money. They're perverts. They're perverts. It's the feeling of power. They're able to get something and then use it against these young girls. I mean, you look at the Gypsy Rose. She did that gig with her mom where she pretended that she had all these illnesses, and what changed? She met a boy. She meets this boy. She was at that age. They end up killing the mom. If girls mature faster than boys do. Girls hit 12, 13, 14 years old. They start noticing older boys. And these older boys, get them in trouble. I had two boys. Thank God they're good kids. They weren't like that. But if I had a girl, I don't know how you people that have daughters sleep at night.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat, dude. That's where the hell you're at.
Now the lady at Marathon passing away, people die all the time. I don't
Yeah.
put much into that. I don't think people going around killing witnesses and shit like that. But here's my take on the Marathon. Keegan Klein definitely searched it. He did a Google search of where the Marathon was. That does not mean that he was going to the Marathon. Maybe he didn't know who Richard Allen was, didn't know his name, but this screen name that he was talking to that they planned on meeting to meet with these girls told him, listen, about a quarter mile from the Marathon station is a dirt road and a church. That's where you want to turn. That doesn't mean they were going to the Marathon.
Um, Hugh Recton, it says, Hugh Rection, you're funny. Question: do you know if there is any of the books taken from R.A.'s house were on Odinism? No, and that is a good question because we would like to know the same damn thing.
Yeah, I didn't even look at any of the books. Now, if it was something that was found in the books, like written in the margins, that would have caught my eye. But as far as books go, I really didn't even care. I was more worried. I watched that shit live, and from what the neighbor, not live, the neighbor took videos and stuff and
Yep.
photos, and it looked like they were just carrying shit out in their hands, like clothes and stuff like that. And I was like, holy shit, that's not how you bag and tag evidence ever. You need a chain of custody, but it appears they did it.
And Chris says, anybody here think Brad Holder, Anthony Niebergall, or TK are also involved?
And TK, I think TK is. Yeah, Kagan's involved. There was two people using the same account on different
Devices.
devices at the same time, and using different type of language, and they can tell that. So yeah, I believe that Tony's definitely involved with that.
Jamie Hicks, good to see you.
So what do you said? Jamie broke her arm.
I got a message from her a couple days ago, and she said, "I think I broke my arm again." She said she's had problems with it before, and she was
Oh,
on her way to the hospital. She would keep me updated on what was going on.
well, it doesn't sound like she updated you too good. You don't even know if her arm was broke.
Well, she's out now. She got out of the hospital today.
I was
It's her,
joking.
it's her first day back in the chats.
But guys, I'm telling you, I can't win. I do this stuff because I wanted to give a law enforcement's perspective. I was never a detective. I never worked in forensics.
Look at Stefan. Now she's giving me shit again. No, no, no. I had a sister that was on the trail, so I had to walk the trail alone. Arlie was not caught yet.
Oh, she went out there afterwards. I got you.
It was the very first time that I had ever been out there.
I got you.
I'd met her, Stefa, her sister, Marv.
But this is why the point I was just making. This is why I try and keep everything close to the vest that I find out. A, I don't know if it's true until I vet it, and B, people say, "All right, well, just give me a little something." I give a little something, then you're an asshole. I need more.
But hey, Shane, you got to realize, yes, he got 43 years. He's only going to do about 20.
Yeah, if that.
25, if that.
Yeah, if that. I've seen people worse charges than Kagan's. Third time fell for the same thing. Walk. Walk. Don't do any prison time. Get time served for the time they had in jail, in the county jail, and then wear an ankle bracelet.
You got to remember, Anna, if he has any information to do with Delphi, they're not going to use that information in a CSAM case. It has nothing to do with the CSAM case.
And we won't know until this case either pleads out or goes to trial. They're not going to release that information. Basically, what Keegan is right now is a CI. Basically, he may be working people that are in prison. You have to think of that too. They may have transferred him because there's somebody in that prison that they want Keegan to talk to.
Everybody's talking about vacations, going to Key West and shit.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm in Homosassa. I'm about an hour north of Tampa, and it's
See,
been cold. It's been
I'll,
cold here.
I like this comment by Anna. Says, I wanted to think that Libby caught on to the nasty antics of the Anthony shots, or might she have defended a friend caught up in the filthy scam?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities, but I mean, if this was a pre-planned murder, one of them girls had done something for them to have to be murdered.
Mm.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else to look at. I don't want to hear no bullshit about no Odinism either.
Yeah, I don't think that Odinism. Those branches don't look like they're placed randomly, but they don't look like anything anti-Semitic or religious or anything like that. Anything of that nature. Now, Mr. Steve also proved that you can place those sticks and cover both bodies with leaves. One person can do that within minutes, 3-4 minutes.
Let's see. Gail Hurd asked, since the Anthony Shots account may have been involved, couldn't KK get some same charges as RA felony murder? No, not necessarily from my understanding. He might have been the creator of the Anthony Shots and was selling the information, whatever he was doing. Doesn't mean that he had anything to do with the murders. He might be indirectly involved. But
Mm.
he knows who the account was that was using the account. You know what I'm saying? Who the person was, or what the you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like I said before, there's no way that he did not know that somebody was logging into his own account without being notified. There's no way.
Right. Something to say says Libby, Kelsey, and Bree were talking to Anthony Shots. Was Abby too? Abby was with Libby, so I'm sure, if nothing else, by proxy.
We're not saying suspects, Brian. We're not saying suspects at all. We're just saying a group of people of in different age ranges are all tied in with this Anthony Shots and the stinking crap that was going on through there. The sea salmon, the catfishing, they're all multiple age ranges.
And some of them knew what was going on.
Yes, and I do believe that some of them did know what was going
Mhm.
on
Yep.
and knew exactly why it happened. And I truly believe that.
Patricia Clark, how confident are you that a knife and belt were found at the crime scene? Very. And also a Gatorade
I've
bottle
seen I've
and a
seen the
can.
picture. I've seen the picture of the belt. Yeah, I've seen the picture of the belt.
Now, I don't know if it was the girl's belt. I don't know whose belt it was, but
No, I couldn't tell either.
yeah. Something to say, yeah, they call it sextortion. They'll get the girls to take videos or pictures of themselves, then threaten to show their family if they don't send them more or do other things or meet. But we can all imagine this. There's no way that Keegan Klein is going to show up somewhere and a girl that's there to meet the young boy in the Anthony Shots photos sees him, and nothing's going to happen. So he knew better than that. He's just a basement pervert. Is what he is.
C3 says, what if it's not the Anthony shot that links them, but Klein's Dropbox? It's all tied together. The Dropbox, the
Hmm.
Anthony shots, all of it's tied together.
Yep, absolutely. That Dropbox is going to come into play. So is a Hope DeMello. Remember that name, Hope DeMello. That's coming into play here
And
as
this
well.
is and this is a fact. What Deb says here. Second Street was there where the kids all hung out together, according to my wonderful contact in Peru. See, she even verified that there's a spot there on Second Avenue that everybody hung out at the time that Kathy Allen, her mother, and all of them lived on Second Street, along with Tony Klein and Keegan, that lived a 10-minute walk from them.
Hmm. Lakeside Justice. Right now, I don't know what the motive is. I don't know what the intent was. Now, Richard Allen intended to kidnap them, and that's about it. We don't know what the intention was once they were kidnapped. And if you've watched me and followed me and watched any of my videos, to me, just to put a boilerplate on it, this is an abduction gone wrong. They wanted to take those girls elsewhere.
And Anna says, if KK has info about RA, if he said that a while ago, what took LA so long to catch RA? Keegan was trying to separate himself from the whole situation with Delphi while he was dealing with the CSAM issue he was dealing with at the time.
hmm
He was
And he
trying
did not want to snitch his dad out.
he was separating himself. He didn't want no involvement with that. But as time went along and he took the plea and everything else, and they basically, I feel like that Nick finally came to him and said, look, we got this on you when it comes to Delphi. And this is where it's all leading to him being moved to Michigan City and talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel at this point in time, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Something to say. Do you think RA had been involved in successful kidnappings prior to this one? I doubt it. His plan sucked. This whole thing it sucked. It was a horrible plan. It was done in haste.
And you know, the bad thing about it was pre-planned, and they still fucked up.
Yeah, they planned on doing it, and I hate to laugh at that.
I know it
Honestly.
sounds horrible, but it makes them look like idiots.
Right, and that's what I'm laughing at.
And the
They
bad
had
part is
planned to
being
do this. They talked shit, having a couple beers. We could do this. We could do this. Then, oh shit, we can do this. Let's do it. We got to get there now. That's why he was walking with a purpose. That's why he was hustling. He needed to get across that bridge and meet with those guys. Why he didn't park at the cemetery is beyond me. That tells me that they did not plan on going across that creek.
That's how I feel. I don't think there was any plans to go across the creek.
Now it's going to be interesting the cut branch because there's definitely a cut branch. I saw it. It's going to be interesting to see if that was done by them, the people involved with this, or somebody else that was just clearing a spot near the creek to fish, and it just happened to be on the ground. You know.
And if anybody out there that knows LA Express, please send your prayers out to her. She has been dealing with some medical issues, and she had some surgery done, and she's trying to recoup and get well. To LA Express, please.
I'm sorry to hear that, LA. I hope you get well soon. I'm just healing up now. I'm just now getting back to where I'm not in pain all the time.
I'm going through the chat, trying to catch up.
Ryan Yeager says, "Is there new information or is this more speculation about the crime?" Let me see. It's moving. Not that I don't agree, just asking. These new charges and all that tells me that there is more information, but it's not physical evidence. Somebody's talking.
Okay, that's another thing. Hold on. I need to bring. Has anybody read the Kara Winicky, her review of the amended charges? She flat out tells basically in that they've got enough on Richard Allen.
They've got tons of that. PCA has plenty of probable cause and probable suspicion to arrest him.
She admits instead of doing 81 years in prison, he's looking at the death penalty now.
Yeah, he's done. Stick a fork.
This was I think this was well planned out by Nick.
Oh yeah. Now, when you say by Nick, he's got a team of people. I mean, he's not just by himself.
He's the lead prosecutor at Carroll County, dude.
Mm.
He is the lead prosecutor.
But he's bouncing this off of other people, and he's talking with law enforcement.
Well, that guy he's got working with him now, I can't remember his name.
Right.
His co-counsel.
Now, something to say says, if they were so dumb, why in the world did it take so long to arrest anyone, and why haven't they arrested anyone else? You need evidence. Something to say. I don't know how many more times I can say that. You have to have proof. You have to have evidence. You only get one shot. If you screw it up, they walk. It's called double jeopardy.
Yep.
So you got to make sure that you've got it. And with a case like this, where it's a lot of digital information and people don't know who the other people are, they only know screen names. It makes it more difficult. Not impossible though.
Ivy Rose says to Anne Lisette, it's fairly common for predators to act like young girls to make the girls they're trying to prey on feel more comfortable. 100% agreed, Ivy Rose. Thank you for that statement there. And
Ivy's smart.
LA Express says at Ruckus, in order to keep a ruse going over the catfish, they had to have an array of pictures and videos of some real person. We know who they used this for Anthony's shots. What about Emily Ann? They didn't use a picture for Emily Ann. I don't think they did.
They may have. I haven't seen it.
I haven't
haven't seen.
either.
I've seen some of the profile information, but and it was easy for them to figure out. I mean, Emily Ann pops up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that may be how they identify each other. It's a nasty business, and it's going on out there.
Scott Dolby, for all we know, is when Libby had her phone reset. And it was her Aunt Tara is the one who helped her reset and factory reset her phone. So if there was any derogatory anything in that phone, I'm sure we would have known about it by now. But the only thing they've told us that's been in that phone is what they got on video and voice, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the two pictures that we know of that Libby took, one of the bridge and the one of Libby on the or Abby on the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy Landreth, in my opinion, if they had others, they would already have been arrested. This is clearly a lone wolf. You could be absolutely right. I doubt it.
I don't think it's a lone. I'm starting to speculate it's not a lone wolf now that Nix has amended these charges. He's making it clear we know there's others involved. He's
Well,
trying to make it clear.
Even before, why charge him with murder with an aggravating factor of kidnapping? Why not just charge him with murder if they knew it was him and he was by himself?
Right. So basically, like I said, the way I see the way he's doing it now, he's just telling him, look, dude, we know there's another person or two involved. And if you're not willing to give it up, we're going to double the charges on you, except for just keep the 2 counts of kidnapping. And that's a death penalty case right there on your lap.
Mm-hmm. And there was a young man that was catfished there that day. So there's a lot involved with this. There's a lot.
And do you believe Yubo, whatever's coming in for this?
Yes, that's where law enforcement was when Richard Allen got arrested. So
wow, wonder what they recovered.
Yeah, we'll see. You didn't think they were going to mail whatever they found in that river. You didn't think they were going to mail it and chance losing it, do you? They had it in their pocket and they flew it there.
I do know that I did find an account for Tony Klein on Yubo.
Yeah, dude.
With the Emily Ann 45.
Yeah, and Poshmark, pretending they're selling shit, all that.
Yep.
All right, brother. It's a little bit after 10.
Yeah, let's go ahead and close this down. I want to thank everybody coming out tonight. And I want to thank Mark, Metal Mama, Support with Steffa, Boston Christian, and Patricia for all the donations to the channel this evening. It's greatly appreciated. To all my mods, thank you very much for sticking around and making sure my chat stayed cool and calm and collected tonight. And for Ruckus Rocks, greatly appreciated, man, for jumping over here tonight and hanging out with us.
No worries, man.
Any last thoughts?
And Don, I really don't want to. I don't want to give up the name. I've said that already. I don't want to give up the name of the Walmart person.
Neither do I. I know who it is, but I'm not going to say anything either. So,
good. Now they bother you, not me. Now that you said that.
Well, I've known for a while, just like you have. So, but is there any last anything else you want to add, or?
No, don't take any wooden nickels, guys. It's been great. Frank, thanks for having me, man.
No problem, guys. All right. You know what time it is, guys. Peace out. One love. Until next time. Good night.